Shouldn't cry, but I love it. Stop why.
What is the deal, beautiful people? It's your boy Ramon, Lifestyles Defined. Before we get started, I just want you to know that this is the shorter version of the review. The more in-depth version can be found over at Ignorant Gamers, which is our gaming channel, our sister channel. The link to that is always in the description down below. So let's talk about the Nintendo Switch. From the conception of this guy, I thought it was dope. I really liked what the message Nintendo was pushing forward, and it was a message for me specifically. It was a solution to a problem I had. So I've always been a fan of mobile gaming, but I've been much more of a fan of console gaming. And the problem is, there's never really a way to 100% take your console experience, which means big AAA titles, big blockbuster games on the go with you. And I've been traveling quite a bit in the last 2 years, and there's a gaping hole for me. I wanna play my games when I'm not home, when I'm not in front of my TV. So I really liked. I ate the message up Nintendo was giving with the Switch, and I've been a fan of it. So I'm very happy to have it in. I'm very happy to get to play with it and really tell you guys a lot about what it has to offer. Now, the Switch, I think, is probably one of the most thoughtful consoles I've ever seen in my life. And if you look at the amount of form factors this thing can take on, the amount of ways you can interact with it, you can play it, I think you'll understand what I mean by thoughtful, by thought out. So this guy comes, I guess the first component you should know about is what Nintendo's calling the Joy-Con controllers. And these are two removable controllers, one left, one right, that goes on to the console, the Switch itself, the side of the Switch, and it can use that form factor. Or B, you can remove them and use them sort of just freely in your hand by themselves. Or C, you can connect them to this controller grip here, which sort of turns them into a traditional controller. Or D, you can use them as their own controller in each instance. So each Switch, each Joy-Con, when you sort of turn it on its side, it becomes this controller with a left analog and input buttons, and then you've got the top, the SL, the SR, or buttons at the top, and you can then use this towards you can use this to the 1-2 Switch games or any of these other multiplayer games that they're pushing. So I think that's dope, and I think Nintendo should receive a good amount of praise for that. This was well done. Now let's just listen to this guy when you snap them back in. Hang on. Ooh, so satisfying. So dope. Speaking of sounds, everything that the sounds that this thing makes when navigating the menus, it's so well, it's done well. Anyway, so in my favorite, I guess you should say form factor. And I guess the fifth way you can use the dock, you can use the Switch itself, is you just dock it and it connects to your TV. Disclaimer, I will never be using that. Like I said, this is a godsend to me because I'm going to be mobile all the time. I'm never connecting this to my TV. I don't care what anyone says. It's just not rocking out. So you will probably see my Switch like this 99.9% of the times, with the Joy-Con controls attached, and it's a giant ass PSP. And I love it for that. So going through the hardware, looking on the bottom, there's a USB Type C, and that's the newest one. It does have the fast charging, and I, for me it's good because I got a bunch of Type C chargers. My phone took it at first, so I got a bunch of chargers laying around, which is good. And you're gonna need some chargers because of the battery life. More on that later. I do not like the placement of the USB at the bottom. It makes it impossible really to charge if you're going to play it in tablet mode. And by tablet mode, I mean you pop the kickstand and you just use the Joy-Con controls or the Pro controller that they're selling So that I think is definitely a fail. To the top of the device, you've got the power button, the volume buttons, you've got the fan, which you very rarely hear. Actually, I should say I've never actually heard it, and I've been playing Zelda, so it's the system's been working. You've got the headphone jack, Apple be damned, and you've got the game card slot, which I will also never be using because I don't support physical media. And much to that detriment, it took me 4 hours to download Zelda from the eShop with a 100 meg down connection. Make from that what you will. Toward the back, you see the Nintendo Switch. You see this matte material, and then you've got the 2 speakers there and the kickstand. So I really like it. The front, you've got the display with a 720p resolution. I think it's more than adequate. Looking at the Joy-Con controllers when docked, this is a very big deal to me. You actually get a trigger, and this was something that I hated about my Vita. It didn't have a trigger, so you get the trigger, and then you get the bumper buttons, so that's super dope. You get your analogs, you get the direction, I wouldn't say D-pad on the left side. I don't know, this is weirdness. I'm not a fan of these buttons. I don't know how I'm gonna play Street Fighter with those. Remains to be seen. On the right side, actually, then there's a capture button down under, so you can take screenshots at the will. That's cool. On the right side, you've got the regular buttons. You've got the analog, the thumbstick toward the bottom, and this is an issue I've been having. It's a very weirdly placed analog, or thumbstick, I should say, and I haven't been able to get used to it, and it's really effing annoying for me right now. So much so that I wish Nintendo would come out with a redesigned version to just fix the axis. And normally I do like off-axis controllers like the Xbox, but here it's just not working because of the way you hold the tablet. You support the device, so that's no good. I want to see that fixed. And then under that's the home button. So yeah, pretty simple, pretty straight to the point. Really dope hardware. I love a lot of what goes on here, but not everything is all roses and such. There's no Bluetooth. Don't know, for God knows whatever reason. Like I said, it takes a while to download stuff from the store. I think there's still a big question mark in the games department in terms of the library and what will be supported and what's coming. So a concern for me is, sure, I went out, I got it, I can have a console experience on the go, which is amazing, but I'm playing Zelda, which is fine. It's an amazing game, but then, like, can I play my Battlefield? Can I play that new Resident Evil? Is there a need for speed? Like, can I get some of that stuff as well? And we don't know if that stuff is coming. So that's really a big question mark that I think a lot of other people are looking out for as well. And especially for those who are going to be using this as a console in a traditional sense, where they're going to be connecting it to their TV, they're going to need to address a lot of those issues. At $300, do I think it's worth it? In my use case, yes, it is. If you look at the price of a Vita, a new Vita today will cost you $200. You look at the price for a 3DS, it'll cost you about $260. I mean, $300 for this? This is a no-brainer for me. I don't care what anyone says about how you can get an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4 for the same price. Like, you can't leave your house with either one of those. And arguably, Nintendo could have charged a lot more for something like this, and they didn't. So I think it's dope. I think it's got some real issues, but I like what I see here. For the more in-depth version of the review, again, check out Ignorant Gamers. The link is in the description below. That video runs for almost twice the length of this, so you get a lot more questions answered there. So yeah, thank you for checking out the channel. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. We got plenty more content coming. My name is Ramon. I'm out of here. Peace. If I had to describe Lifestyles Defined, I would say it is a dream come true to have a platform where we can talk about the things that we love, and we can share with people who also love the things we love the way we love, and just have conversations that matter and go back and forth and grow as a community. It's been a pleasure. It's been a dream, and I just want to thank everyone that's involved for rocking out with us.